All right, good day to you. My name is Fred Oakman, and as always with me today is Mr. Jake Peters. We are PS This Is Awesome, a PlayStation podcast. This is episode 154. This is a show where we share our feelings about the current state of PlayStation. But before we get on with the show, I need to invite you all to subscribe to our channel on YouTube, which is youtube.com/PS This Is Awesome. Visit us on Twitter at PS This Is Awesome, and Tumblr, which is PS This Is Awesome at tumblr.com. If you want to make fun of our trophy list on the PSN, you can find me at anchorless_81 and Mr. Jake Peters at JakeSaw01. More on trophies in a bit. As always, you can write the show at psthisisawesome@gmail.com. And most importantly, do not forget to share this show with your friends and be sure to leave comments and rate the podcast as you see fit. Jacob, how are you doing this Thursday evening?
I'm doing all right. Just trying to keep on top of things. How about yourself?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. A lot of PlayStation stuff happened since we last talked, I think. Yeah, things are good. It's cold out. We're in Pennsylvania. You know, the weather's getting colder. I feel a tingle in the back of my throat, and I have a little bit of a dry cough. I tend to get a dry cough in the fall time, and it's recurring. It's like every season. But in the back of my head, I'm like, maybe I fucking got COVID. Who knows? I don't think I do. But, I mean, everyone's thinking that. And flu season's around the corner. So, man, this world is insane. But I'm sipping on some of that monkey shoulder rum, scotch maybe, with some Coke, and I'm feeling pretty good right now because I took tomorrow off work.
Monkey shoulder is scotch.
That's what I said, wasn't it?
You said rum scotch.
Oh, yeah. Scotch is what I meant. Last week, and we got a bottle, and we're sharing it by a fire. We're almost past campfire season here. You know, what I thought about doing was having fires in the wintertime out back on the patio. That might be cool, like some big fires. You know what I mean?
It depends. I mean, the problem you struggle with is that when the air temperature is so cold, your front will be warm, but your back will be freezing.
Yeah.
Especially if you're like sitting in a chair that's off the ground or something.
You got to keep like rotating like the earth. Revolving. No, rotating. Revolving is the other way around. Yeah. I guess you could do both if you wanted. But yeah, you're right. But we'll see. I'm thinking about having a couple snow campfires. We'll see how cold the weather gets this winter, but everybody's preparing for that, man. Everybody's preparing for winter. I hope our listeners are staying safe in this crazy time. And Jake, I've been talking a lot about trying to finish Life is Strange Season 2. I finally got around to doing that. And I think you might like the ending. There's 7 different endings to this game, and it took me quite a while. I had one ending, and then I went on YouTube and watched the other 6, and actually took a while to watch them all unfold. But overall, pretty good game. Maybe not the game you want to play during a pandemic because it's kind of depressing. But I picked up Star Wars Squadrons, and I am on the 10th mission. We'll talk about that a little bit later. And I'm also playing that Genshin Impact game at the same time. I wanted to see what that noise was all about, and I can talk about that in a little bit. But, Jake, are you doing anything video game-wise right now? You said you were really busy. I know you've been busy at work.
I did. I mean, like I said, the last couple of weeks I was playing some of the Halo games. And as I finished all the core Halo games. I finished Halo 5 last weekend, I think it was.
Cool.
And so I actually started playing that game that came out a while back called A Plague Tale: Innocence.
Yeah, I've heard of that. Yeah. It looks really good.
Yeah, I started playing that. I'm only about, I don't know, maybe an hour into it or so. And it's just starting to kind of pick up steam. I still don't really know what's going on, but the atmosphere is really cool. I'm really kind of enjoying it. I mean, it's definitely like, you know, people talk about it. They talk about how good it is and everything. And I can definitely see it heading that direction, but it is definitely like, I don't know if I'd call it like maybe like an A tier game. You know what I mean? Like it's not AAA.
Yeah.
It's like a AAA game, but there are moments that expose the fact that it wasn't made by like Sony's proper or something like that.
Yeah, the spit shine wears off here and there.
Just like in some of the animations and things like that. But generally, I think it's pretty cool. Honestly, my biggest gripe about it is that the camera controls are a little floaty, which I fucking hate it whenever you get floaty camera controls and you're always maybe that's just because I'm coming from Halo, which has really good camera controls. It's kind of floaty. However, I am still really enjoying it.
Yeah, well, I'm happy to hear you're finally sinking your teeth into something fresh. Not necessarily a fresh game timeline wise, but for you, it's fresh. And I think that game You're right. It got a lot of critical praise. It was like one of those games that always kind of was in my cart and then out of my cart on the PlayStation Store. I'm like, should I? And then, Are you playing on the Xbox?
Yeah, 'cause it's on Game Pass. That's actually pretty much the reason why I decided to jump into it, because it cost me nothing. So, I mean, other than my subscription. But
right,
like I mentioned previously on this podcast, I mean, the only reason why I have that console is to do the Game Pass stuff. And most of the stuff I'm going to play on there, I could play on PS4 if I want to. Well, it's just that it doesn't cost me anything.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty evident that that's kind of what Microsoft is trying to do, is get people to pick up their console because you can get all these games for $10 a month or whatever you pay for it. I don't know what you pay for it. Is it $10 a month?
I think it's $10 a month, and you get like, I don't know, something. It's like 100 games or 150 games or something. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Yeah, so like we said, it's $120 a year, which is the price of 2 games presently. When we switch to the new generation, I think that the game's going to be closer to $70, $140 for 2 games. So yeah, for $10 a month, you have like an infinite library to play all year. So that's actually a pretty good deal. Not a lot of people are selling back games. Well, I can't speak for everyone else, but for myself, like when I buy games, I don't typically go put them back on the market and try to sell them used, you know? Yeah, so that's cool. Plague Tale, Innocence. So Life is Strange, talk a little bit on that. Star Wars Squadrons, man, is really good. I've been playing it in VR. There are 14 campaign missions. And for those who don't know, it kind of pits you. You get to sit in the cockpit of like the Rebel Alliance, which I'm not a big Star Wars fan, so I don't really know the canon of Star Wars. And it's kind of crazy, but I think after they're like the Rebels, they're called something else. Like they're kind of more orchestrated and together. Is it the Rebel Alliance or the Rebel Allegiance or the Rebel?
The Rebel Alliance was from the original trilogy from like the 70s.
So that's not who you're flying for. You're flying for the more orchestrated Rebel whatever group. What are they called? The Republic or something?
They're called like the...
Your dog's just going nuts in the background. I can hear.
Yeah.
Called something else. But anyways, you get to fly. I've lost the point, but you get to fly for them and then actually get to fly for the Empire also. So you get to see both sides of this conflict from different perspectives. And what's interesting about the game is the flight mechanics are, in VR, it's good. Unfortunately, on the OG PlayStation, the VR, according to Reddit, is noticeably blurrier than the PS Pro. And
that makes sense.
It's really disappointing because Star Wars Battlefront had a X-Wing mission and it was crystal clear and it was amazing. And I was like, if they could just do this as a full game. So they do it as a full game with Squadrons. But the issue that I'm seeing is like, it's a little blurrier than I really would like. And knowing that it's better on the PS Pro kind of agitates me a little bit. And I've heard rumors that things are clear on the PS Pro, but most of the people on the VR Reddit are like, yeah, it's not that big of a difference. But in this one, they're like, yeah, it's noticeable. Like it's noticeably way better on the Pro. So that's kind of disappointing. For some reason, they couldn't bridge that difference very well. But it's still really, I don't know, it's still really good. Like I said, I'm on campaign mission 10. So I have 4 left to go. I did jump into an online game and I have Beats that are hardwired to the Sony PSVR and they have a built-in mic into them. But I didn't know if my camera was picking up my voice or if the Beats were. But I tried to like talk to my group and they're like, hey, Carlos, you're so loud. Turn down your mic. And like I had it essentially off. So I don't know how the PSVR microphone thing works. But playing VR dogfights multiplayer is so awesome. One really thing that I really enjoy about this game is you have like your ships are really interesting, but it's a little more technical. You hear this a lot, like a game's easy to play but difficult to master. And I would say that is true with this game because the ships have, you have 3 meters. And the default is they're all leveled at like 5 out of 10. First one is your engines. The second one is your lasers. And then the third one is your shields, right? So as you play the game, you can reroute energy to either 3 of those, depending on the ship that you have. I think the only ship that doesn't have all 3 is the TIE Fighter. It doesn't have shields. So if you need to hurry up and skirmish out of the way, you can put all of your energy into your engine as you're playing, and you can just zoom past everything. If you're getting attacked really hard and you're stuck in the middle of some shit, you need to get out. If you are right behind somebody and you're dogfighting and you want to divert all your energy to your lasers, you can probably drop them a little quicker. But by doing each of those things, you're pulling all of your energy from the other two. So if you want to be stronger, then you're sacrificing your defense, and if you want to be very defensive, you're sacrificing your offense, your maneuverability. So as you're playing the game, when you're dogfighting, it's not just about how well you can maneuver the ship and kind of get around behind the other guy and like dogfight, but it's also there's some strategy. And then when you're on your shields, you can actually divert all of your shield power to the rear of the ship or to the front of the ship. So there's a lot of little I would call them almost like mini games in this game. And it's really fucking cool. And the price point's $40. The game's $40. So it's not even like a full price, but they did come out recently. Motive came out and said, listen, what you bought is what you get. There's only 2 modes in VR or 2 modes in multiplayer. And they're saying we have no plans on rolling out any additional content to this game because you paid $40 for it. And we feel like we've delivered a really decent game for everybody. And they did. It's good. It's definitely worth the money. Next up was Genshin Impact. Have you heard anything else about this game since we talked about it on our last show?
No, I haven't really had a chance to look into it.
Yeah, so it's one of those games that's like it's not pay to play, but there's apparently supposed to be some sort of paywall. It's free to play. It looks like Zelda Breath of the Wild. The music is amazing. It's like a straight up Japanese animation, like RPG kind of. Man, it's so good. And the problem is that I'm starting to get into it now. I probably have about 10 hours into this game. And I haven't felt compelled to buy anything yet in the game. And I don't know that I'm ever going to. Although you can pay to like unlock, chances to get shit. And, it's almost like gambling in a video game. But you don't have to do any of that. And, dude, all of the story is voiced over. There's voiceovers for everything. The animations are amazing. It plays really well. There's all kinds of battle mechanics that are really interesting. And the story is actually really good. And like, it's just like an online, it's not, you play by yourself. Like you're not like in a world with other players. It's like a single player game, free to play, but you have to connect to the internet in order to play it. But yeah, it's really, really got me. And I've been playing that a lot lately. It's a really good game. So, Jake, we talked earlier. You said you haven't watched the PS5 teardown. For those listening, I
just watched it.
Okay, so Sony came out and they posted a PS5 teardown. They did a PS4 teardown with their PS4 when it came out. And I just wanted to make a couple quick comments and then we can quickly talk about it. But the cooling on the PS5 is really next level. Like the reason the thing's so big is just because it looks like the cooling system for this is just ridiculous. It's using liquid metal, and the fan on the unit is actually pretty big. And it also has dust collection traps, but it did say at the end of the video that the dust collection is not a guarantee that it's going to keep dust from causing issues in your unit. So, but it does have those two little ports, I guess, when you pull the white covers off that you can just put a vacuum on and suck the dust out. It's where it's supposed to funnel all the dust to the fan. So I don't know. The heatsink with the liquid metal thing is really interesting. Did you watch that other video I sent about how that works?
No.
Okay, dude. So think about this. And you're more of a computer guy than I am, so I'm going to just preface this with I know jack shit about how heat sinks work in processors. But it's my understanding that the heat sink touches the processor. Usually they use like thermal paste, and somehow it mitigates the heat off of the processor so it doesn't overheat. Essentially, I think that's what's happening. So what the benefit of liquid metal is that if you, on a microscopic level, if you put like the metal on the heatsink directly, there are a bunch of little crevices where it actually doesn't touch. So on a microscopic level, you want it to touch as flush as possible with the processor, whatever is hot, to get all of the heat off of it, to absorb that heat and get it off of it is the plan. So that's why people use thermal paste, because it takes those little microscopic things and it fills the gaps. So there's more direct contact. But the issue with thermal paste is it's not as good as a conductor as metal. So what Sony has kind of patented or developed or come up with is a way to use, people are speculating, instead of thermal paste, they're using liquid metal. So when the unit is on, I believe when the unit's off, the metal probably is a solid. But when it's on, it warms up and acts as like a greater conduit for that heat. And it pulls way more heat off of the system than thermal paste would. And then I don't know if you saw the video, but there's this crazy, like almost like vapor chamber fucking tubes and shit that run out. I don't know. It just looks ridiculous.
Are you sure of what you're saying, or are you just assuming?
No. The only thing I'm not sure of is that it's a solid and then turns to liquid. It's the only thing I don't know, but I know that that's why they use the liquid metal. I watched a scientific video on it, and it seems so. The thing that's interesting is the con of using liquid metal in place of thermal paste is that the issue is that it is an electrical conduit. Like, so if it gets outside of where it's supposed to it could like just essentially fry the motherboard, like cause all kinds of electrical shortages and problems. So they patented this thing. They've made like these troughs to hold it in place with these special seals. And it just looks, I read that they spent 2 years of R&D on this technology, which is ridiculous. And it's not mercury. It's like some other kind of metal mixed with another metal. And it simulates kind of like the way that mercury behaves, but it's not poisonous like mercury. I'm sure it's still not good to like ingest, but it's not as poisonous. But it just seems so fascinating. And you know, everybody's PlayStation right now is like so loud playing The Last of Us 2. I mean, we've talked and joked about it on the show. Like, you have to turn the volume up because you can't hear over the fucking PlayStation. And it's because the fans just fucking like nonstop, just trying to keep the fucking thing cold. So I think they've probably recognized this, and they're just looking very forward about the whole issue. Like, you know, in 7 years on the PS5, you know, what kind of program, what kind of what kind of demands we're going to put on the system. You know, we really don't want it to run that hot. So, I mean, from what I heard, it runs super, super quiet. The interesting thing is that you can stand it upright vertically or horizontally, which makes me think that liquid metal is a solid until the unit's turned on. There might be some sort of disclaimer that says like, while the unit's on, don't move it on its side or something. I don't know. But some of it's speculation, but there's a lot of science and fact in my thing. But I don't know if the only thing I don't understand is if the heat sink itself touches the processor. Is that what you butted up against?
Yeah, I'm guessing that this is probably it's probably still some kind of a paste. I doubt, or like a pad. I doubt it's like a solid that melts when you turn on your PlayStation, because there would be too many risk factors there. I wonder if this is just like I'll have to watch that video, because there are high performance thermal pastes that have existed for a long time that have like silver in them and shit, so that they actually have metal in them, like microscopic metal. Yeah. And I wonder if this paste that you're talking about is like an evolution of that.
Yeah, I don't know. I know Sony put a lot of time and money into it, and they patented it. This whole thing. So I mean, based on everything that I've seen, I've done quite a bit of research. I think it's like a straight up liquid metal thing that they've come up with, and like, it just seems next level to me. Like, it just seems so interesting. But I guess, I don't know. It's kind of crazy that they felt that was necessary. You know. So I don't know.
I hope that it doesn't mean that they're running this CPU beyond its means, but because usually the reason why you want a lot of heat dissipation like that is because you're overclocking the shit out of a CPU, and you need as much heat dissipation as possible so you can run it faster than it's meant to be run.
Well, I think we're probably doing that with PS4 now with some of these later games, like Last of Us 2.
I'm sure. I just hope that will last for whatever 7 years or however long the PS4 is lasted.
Did you see the fan on this thing?
Yeah, it's pretty good size. I was actually more impressed by the size of the heatsink. Pretty awesome. Those, like, all those tubes and stuff are like thermal pipes that like will carry the heat from like one section of the heatsink to another. Yeah. So they have those on a lot of like PC processor heatsinks now. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's
enormous. Yeah, the heatsink's huge.
Although I watched this video, and as this guy's tearing it, it's pretty bad. The first thing I thought of whenever I'm watching this PlayStation Sony guy tear this thing down, the first thing I thought of whenever this video started was, I was like, man, this thing really is ugly.
Yeah. Well, it's huge too. It's enormous. Here's the other thing. Think about where the fan placement is on this thing, right? So when he lays it down, it's when it's vertical, it would be on the top of the unit, and it runs right through the system. It's on both sides. So you almost have to ask yourself, are you going to get better air circulation with it standing vertically as compared to horizontally?
I almost certainly. I mean, it's entirely possible that that's why it's shaped so dumb, because when it's laying on its side, that like weird body shape allows it to get more airflow.
Because it requires a stand, and the stand puts it up off the ground a little bit so it can get some air underneath it. But man, I'm probably going to put mine vertical just based on knowing where the fan is. That thing's huge, though. I don't know where I'm going to put it.
I don't know. I think that if I ever do get a PS5, it's gonna lay down. I can't, dude. If I'm gonna have a fucking tower, I'm just gonna get a PC.
Yeah,
it's like the Xbox One or whatever the new Xbox is called. It's like, you know, in my personal opinion, the Xbox Series X, I think is what it's called. I think it looks better than the PS5, but it's like, where the fuck do you put it? You got to like sit it in the corner behind your
subwoofer or some shit. Yeah,
it's like it's like an obelisk. It's
where
like,
all the dust collects. Yeah,
yeah. It's like, why are they designing these things like this? And I guarantee you, probably part of it has to do with airflow, like you're talking about.
100%. It's got to.
You know, at the same time, it's like, man.
Yeah, we might as well have a computer.
Like they almost need to. It's like they almost need to be like, you know, here's this new console, and then here's like a new style of entertainment stand to go with it that has like a vertical slot that you could put your thing in.
Well, I'm gonna say the interesting thing about it, man, is like those white side covers seem to be very easily removable. So I would imagine a lot of people are either going to be making customized ones, or they're at the very least going to offer different color ones. So, I mean, if you don't like the white, I would imagine you could probably at least get a different color. But, man, that is the perfect opportunity for game developers to be like, oh, get the Last of Us side covers. Just click off the old one and put the new ones on. You know what I mean? It looks like it's going to be super interchangeable.
You know what? I wonder how long it'll take for somebody to do this. But the first thing that I would do is make a front and back cover for this thing that turns it into a box instead of this wavy fucking ugly thing. So it literally
they're not curved.
So that it literally can just sit flat on my shelf.
That's hilarious. Yeah, then it might fuck up with your airflow. But anyways, dude, yeah, so that's interesting. So if you haven't had a chance yet to watch the PS5 teardown, is really interesting. It's kind of neat. There's not a whole lot of talking. It is in another language, so if you watch it on YouTube, put on the closed captions. I don't know if you saw, but there is a port on there. There's like a compartment where you can attach additional storage space, because there's always a lot of rumors right now that the storage space on the PS5, which I think is 800 gigs, a good portion of it's taken up by the UI, and then it's also coming with Astrobots. So they're saying you're going to get it with only 600 gigs available. So there is a storage spot, but people are like, we can't even get compatible SSDs for this thing. So it's so future. But Western Digital just recently put up that they have SSDs that are compatible with the PS5, and the prices go as such. The 500 gigabyte SSD for the PS5 is $150, which is actually pretty affordable considering this stuff tends to increase in price exponentially. So if you wanted a terabyte, it's $230, and then for a 2 terabyte, it's $450.
Assuming that those hard drives or those SSDs operate on the same frequency in terms of like their speed and everything as what's built into the PS5. Price. That's actually, that $150 for 500 gigs is fucking a great price. Yeah. Like, I honestly, and that's probably not even, I mean, I guarantee you there are going to be better drives that you could buy for this thing that are way more money.
Down the road when you actually need the space, yeah.
But I know that like first indication, because there's, it's kind of weird when you talk about this because it hasn't been made explicitly clear as far as I know yet that like the hard drives or the SSDs that you put in there, there's a difference. There's a distinct difference between just putting any old SSD in there and putting an SSD in there that is
compatible with everything.
That is compatible. And then there's also like an SSD that takes advantage of all of like the high speed SSD controller shit that they built into this console.
Yeah.
So like, I know that until like within the last like couple of weeks, I feel like you couldn't even buy an SSD that was good enough to be compatible with the PS5 or the Xbox Series X for PC. You just couldn't buy them. Like there doesn't exist a PC SSD that's as good as the ones in these consoles. That's why, like, I think like the first blush, a week or two ago, they were talking about expandable space for the Xbox Series X was going to cost like $200 and some, but that might have been through Xbox or something like that. I don't remember, but it's if you're one of those people that refuses to delete games from your fucking console, which I will never understand, you're going to spend the money to be putting extra storage space in here. Unless you do like, you could put an external hard drive on there and put like your PS4 games on that, probably. If you want to install some PS4 games on.
I don't even know if it's going to read an external hard drive like a regular one. I don't know that it's even going to. It does have USB 2.0 ports.
USB 3. Yeah, it does, but it has USB 3 ports, and they did. I think that
doesn't
was
have two. Doesn't have USB 2.
No, USB 3 is the fastest one. If it has USB 2,
sorry, this monkey shoulder is getting to me.
Old. But like, no, I think that was one of the first things that they talked about is that you'd be able to use an external hard drive and put games on that, but it was going to like limit the ability of like the types of games you could put on there and run. Like it was probably going to be limited to like maybe PS4 games or something like that. You're not going to be able to put PS5 games on there because they won't run through that external hard drive like USB bus.
Yeah. So all right.
Enough.
So the internet's saying it will have 3 USB-A ports, one on the front, 2 on the back, and 1 USB-C port on the front. So I don't know what that means.
USB-A is just the shape, not the speed.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, what the fuck?
So A is the OG like rectangle hole.
Yeah.
C is like the weird like little oval tiny one that like Apple and shit use now.
Oh, so that's what's going to be on the front then, probably for the controller charger.
Probably.
It might be better or something. Okay, yeah. I guess I didn't realize that that's what that – I thought that just indicated like the quality of the fucking port.
I mean, it didn't – like if you look – like USB-C is like the new one. So you would know that like you could tell that if it's got a USB-C port, it's a newer device, but it doesn't indicate how fast it is. Although it could be that it's like by default USB-C ports are USB 3.0, but
yeah. Well, I'll come right out and just say that I've never claimed to be a tech person. We do this podcast because of video games, but yeah. Well, I'm glad you were able to clear that up because I had no clue. I just figured it was just like, okay, well, 2 of these are better than the other one, so it just means the shape. That's hilarious. I just talk out my ass all the time. All right, Jim Ryan of Sony indicated in an interview that he expects the PS5 to do better in the first fiscal year than the PS4 did. That's really not a surprise, considering there's more people gaming these days. But the question is, can Sony keep up with the demand? What do you think, Jake?
I think that what this means, honestly, when I read that, literally the only thing that I thought is that, wow, it's going to take me a long time to get a console.
Yeah, sucks.
That's basically
I might not even get
what I
mine.
read.
Well, I might not get mine. We'll see. I don't know. I haven't heard anything, and because I ordered it under my parents' account because I didn't have a login for Sam's Club. If they've gotten any emails about the PS5, they've not told me, and they probably just deleted them as spam messages or something. So I'll have to check with them. Jake, now this just dropped. I think it just dropped today, Thursday. Today is October what? The 6th? Today's the 6th. Sony has confirmed that PS trophy tracking is happening for the PS5. There was an email that circulated and it said, just how close are you to earning that rare gold trophy? See what else you need to do before what the fuck? Oh, before hearing that highly satisfying ding sound with the all-new trophy tracking system and supported games on the PS5 console. Sorry, I've got all kinds of words on my text thing, and it's screwing me up, man. Sorry. So it says, so with this, you should be able to track your progress on individual trophies. But this isn't what they rolled out, but they did upgrade the way they are tracking trophies. So your trophy score has changed, Jake. Have you seen it today?
I haven't been on my PlayStation today, no.
Unbelievable. I wonder if this is going to mess up with the PSN Trophies website where they keep track of because usually sometimes I'll look at yours to see what you've been playing. But so on the Sony blog, which is PlayStation.blog, it says that the trophy levels have been changed. So I am now a level 355, which puts me in the silver tier. And silver is $300 to $599. Bronze is $1 to $299. Gold is $600 to $998, and platinum is $999. So essentially, they're just weighting the trophies and giving you a score according to the kind of trophy that you earned. So the platinums are worth the most. So Jake, you probably pushed past me because you have way more platinums than I do. So I wonder what your score is now, though.
I don't know. I mean, it's been a while since I've gotten a platinum, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the reasoning is behind this.
It's like score chasing, really.
To me, it's like it gets closer to that Xbox gamer score where to me, it's like I always hated it because it's like, oh, my gamer score is like 57,328. It's like, okay, what does that mean? I have no idea. It's much more digestible to be like, oh, your PSN, game score or whatever the fuck you want to call it, rank is like your level 10 or your level 15 or your level 30. Like it's a little bit more digestible as opposed to something like what Xbox is doing. And so like now that they're changing this new system, it's like, okay, so now my score is fucking 300 something. Like what does that mean? You know what I mean?
It doesn't mean anything. Just wait for us to like compare our scores.
So yeah, I don't know. I haven't really looked into it, but like as far as the trophy like progress tracking is concerned, I don't know.
I don't know what that means.
I think Xbox has already does this, and basically what it means is that so like on my Xbox, if I'm like playing the Master Chief Collection, for example, there's there might be an achievement or a trophy that's like, kill 100 grunts or something like that. And I'll like when my Xbox is idle, every so often these like panels or panes or whatever you want to call them will like kind of pop up and scroll across the screen. And sometimes it'll be like, you've got 57 of 100 kills before you get this achievement. Like the Xbox just tracks all of that.
It just tells you what you need.
Right. So like in PlayStation, unless the game itself specifically like Uncharted or The Last of Us has a stats menu where they're like, oh, you fucking killed, I don't know, 300 people or whatever. And you have
like 200 left to go.
Right. And you know that there's a trophy for 500, right? Then you
got to do the manual map.
But like most games, when they have these weird trophies and stuff, you have no idea if you're making any progress for it. So
yeah, that's kind of cool. But it does say in supported games on the PS5 console. So I would imagine all the Sony exclusives are going to probably have this as a requirement. But the first party games. But I doubt we're going to see. I don't know. Maybe we will. I don't know. Well, what do you think?
I'm sure that it will become a standard thing, but I guarantee you that there's still going to be some onus on the developer to like enable this feature, right? They're going to have to expose like internally inside the game. They know that like, oh, he's killed 20 out of 30 bad guys, but like they have to expose that to the PlayStation so that the PlayStation can keep track of that and show you how far you are on your trophy. So I'm sure that it's just like going to be some kind of a thing where the developer just has to sort of expose that stuff to Sony and then they can display that information for you. It probably, at the beginning, there are probably going to be some games that have it and some that don't. I assume that a lot of the PS4 games, for example, that are backwards compatible probably won't, have it. I'm assuming a lot of the PS5, at least the first party stuff will have it.
Cool, man. Yeah, you're probably 100% right. And it is going to be interesting. I don't think it's like a reason to buy a PS5, but it's just another little thing they're dangling in front of us. Outside of the PS5 teardown, Jake, there's not a whole lot that needs to be added to the news section here. There's nothing that caught my eye particularly, but we're getting closer every day to the next gen launch, and it's pretty exciting. Maybe not exciting for you because you don't have one on pre-order, but I'm getting a little excited to see if I actually get one of these bad boys. I did see the Cyberpunk went gold, which is exciting. This is a CD Projekt Red game that's coming out here in November. And to be quite honest, if I get a PS5, I'm going to wait to buy it and play it on the PS5. I'm probably not going to play that day one because I want to play it on the PS5.
I think I heard that the PS5 release is not going to be until like next year sometime.
Really?
Yeah. I think they said 2021 for the next gen release of Cyberpunk. So it's up to you if you want to wait that long. I was thinking the same thing too, but then I was like, oh, I'm not going to probably get my PS5 at launch, so maybe I'll just play it on PS4. And then whenever I heard somewhere that possibly there won't be a PS5 release of that game until next year, I was like, oh, well, then I guess.
Well, yeah, knowing CD Projekt Red, if you buy the PS4 version, I'm sure you'll get the PS5 version free. They did that with The Witcher. But I just wonder if the PS4 version is going to run on the PS5. And if it does, then I probably will play it. I'll play the PS4 version on the PS5, is what I guess I'm saying. But I probably won't play the PS5 version then, which kind of blows. But I did see Mortal Kombat 11 is getting Rambo and also coming to PS5 as a free upgrade. Not Rambo himself, I don't think, but Mortal Kombat 11 is getting a free upgrade for the PS5 players. So that's kind of exciting. Just seems weird to have Rambo in PS5 or in Mortal Kombat, don't you think? I don't know if he fits.
It is strange. It seems interesting. I'm sure they'll make it work. I mean, they had shit like RoboCop and stuff in there, so like
Jason.
I'm sure that they'll be able to make it work, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
So I looked up. It does say they just say 2021 for the PS5 native version of Cyberpunk 2077. Now they do say that the PS4 version will be playable at launch, but you'll be playing essentially the backwards compatible version of Cyberpunk on your PS5.
It'll just load faster, which is what I want.
Sure, you just won't get all the fancy graphics and all the
light tracing,
yeah.
ray tracing. Sure, right? Yeah, ridiculous, dude. So we got a couple new games coming to the PSN October 6th. God, I can't talk right now. It's hard for me to see the screen. It's affecting my voice. 9th Dawn the 3rd. Nickelodeon's Kart Racers 2 Grand Prix October 7th. Skate Master Checo. It's Skate Master and then TCHECO. No idea. There's a lot of skater games coming out, man. War Theater, Blood of Winter. And then October 8th, we have, is it Ilkenfell? And then Neighbors Back from Hell. Mortal Blitz, Combat Arena, 1 game. Outbreak, Lost Hope, 1 game. Ride 4. And then the October 9th, we're getting FIFA 21 or FIFA, however you want to pronounce it. But yeah, so that's all I got for the show, Jake. We should talk about something. We're only about 40 minutes into this bad boy. You got anything you want to add?
Well, not really. I've been so busy. I haven't hardly done anything. As far as games go and stuff, and I've just been busy. I'm going to try and play a little bit more of that Tale or whatever. Plague Tale game this weekend because I'm interested. But I would also like to – I completely forgot about that Genshin Impact game. I'd like to download it and see what it's all about.
Fucking good. Like I got real scared at first because there's this the only way that I think that you can actually spend money is by – they have this part of the game called Wish. And I'm not even familiar with what gacha is. It's not like GOTCHYA. It's GOCHA, and it's a thing in Japan. And I don't really understand it. But the wish system in this game is you collect these things, this form of in-game currency, like Primo Gems or Prim Gems, or I don't know what they're called, Primo Jewels. And after you collect so many of those, you can convert them to a better currency, and then that currency can be used to buy what they call wishes, which is like an opportunity to get a rank 3, rank 4, and even unlock characters. So as you progress through the game, you get this currency in the game, but you don't get it as fast as if you just wanted to buy some of these Primo Gems and use that to unlock these characters. It's like, and I guess this game is a phone game also, which is interesting because when I hear phone game, I'm just like, that's probably trash. But dude, the music is so good. The graphics are phenomenal. The game plays really well. The combat is really interesting. Like the way the combat works is like, the one that comes to mind is well, there's a couple different things. You can like vaporize enemies. So you have different characters that play at the same. You only control one character at a time, but you have a party of 4 in any combat situation. It's essentially like elements. They have elemental magic. Like, so your main character is like a wind magic. There's a girl who's like a fire magic right from the beginning. There's a guy who's like electric. And then a guy who's like ice magic. Now, they name all these things different things. So like ice isn't called ice, fire isn't called fire. It's called something that like it doesn't register with me. So it gets really confusing with what one's called like Dendra. Another one's called like something else. So it's like some of it's lost on me because like it's like, oh, use Dendra magic when there's blah 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 magic involved, and you can chain your specials together. And I'm like, what the fuck is one of these versus the other? Like I don't know. But so you kind of have to think about it. Well, at least I do. Like fire, wind, that kind of shit. So what you can do to chain your attacks together is like, if I shoot someone with a fire, which is a special, and it catches them on fire, then I can have my tornado guy, the wind guy, throw like a tornado at somebody, and it will cause like a fire-nado, and it does extra damage. Or I can use ice to get somebody frozen, and then use like electric on them. It's like electric and water, and you can like fuck them up that way. You know what I mean? So like, but you switch between your characters in combat by using the thumb pad, not the analog stick. So left is one character, up's one character, and then as soon as you hit it, it'll switch to that other character, and you can use their move, and then switch back to the other one who has the other magic move, and then use those. It's actually really well made. The entire, man, I could go on for a bit about it. Like it's actually really interesting. So the premise of the story real quick is like the game kind of starts and you get thrown into this situation where you're from another planet or another universe or something, and you're kind of there, and you have this kind of annoying little fairy person that follows you. It's all voiced over. Everything is voiced over, and it's really done well. And you run into this town, and then the town is full of these knights that are protecting the town, and then it gets attacked by a dragon. Not to spoil much, but then right now I'm on a quest to figure out how to help the dragon out or get the dragon from attacking the town. And I've been in it for like 10 hours. But at one point I was in the wish menu and I hit a button and like I bought like all this fucking shit. And I was like, oh fuck, did I just spend like a ton of fucking money by accident? And I was like, I would think, because it ties it to your PlayStation account. I'm like, the last thing I want to do is hit something on accident and get charged like $200 for something. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
that scares me. But like, I think I haven't bought anything, but it makes me wonder if I could fuck up like a button press and just get rung up on like a crazy charge. That's the only thing that scares me. But yeah, I don't know, because they use like primo gems and blah, blah, blah gems and ascension things and this and that. And it's like, do you sure you want to spend blah, 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 blah? And I'm like, I would hope that you would fucking tell me if I didn't have this in my inventory, It's like, yeah, I want to upgrade my weapon. And then it's like, are you sure? And I'm like, yes. And then it upgrades it. And I'm like, fuck, I've been checking my bank account. I haven't been charged with shit. I would think that it would ask you like, hey, you're about to make a purchase or you're about to spend real money. You know what I mean? There's no way they would just hide it in there, but there is maybe. I don't know. Go ahead.
It'd probably drag you out to the PSN if you were actually going to pay for something, I'm guessing.
I would hope so.
But I don't know that for sure.
I was trying to figure it out. So I got on YouTube and I was watching this YouTube streamer, and he's like, so yeah, I've been playing Genshin Impact, and I really want the blah, blah, blah. Cause you can unlock characters by spending these gems or whatever. And he goes, I just really want the blah, blah, blah character. And like, I've spent like $800 so far, but it's fine because I can write it off because it's a YouTube channel, and like I can write it off as a business expense because I want to see what the character does and want to talk about it on the show. I'm like, who would spend $800 fucking dollars on an unlock in a game? So it's like, that's why these games exist the way they do. Like, it really disappoints me that this game is not a pay to play game, but a game that has a lot of microtransactions. But there was I had heard that there was some sort of article about this game that was written for Forbes magazine or something. And they were talking about how the person had played 20 hours and they never felt compelled to purchase anything at that point. And like, this game is phenomenal. Like, it is a really good game. So, dude, if you're interested at all, you should check it out. Like, it's really awesome. I'm actually going to Google real quick if it warns you. And then, by the way, Hero Quest, that game I talked about last show, we're almost at $2 million raised. So that's exciting. I would imagine it would like, there'd be all kinds of shit online if like it would just charge you a fuck ton of money for no reason. You know what I mean? I would think.
I would think so.
All right. Well, that's enough. I've talked enough about it. Go check the game out. It's actually really, really fun. A lot of people are playing it right now. A lot of people are talking about it. I'm going to dive back into Star Wars Squadrons tonight, pilot through the last 4 missions maybe. We'll see. But that's all I got. So thanks a lot for tuning into the show, everybody. Sorry we went on for a little bit longer at the end there, but it was a short show anyway. So we are at about 47 minutes on the clock, but I got to edit it down. So we'll see where it ends up. And Jake, I was thinking about doing a Halloween themed intro song. So we'll see if I do it. Not an intro song, not redo it, but I think I have the original MIDI files from Sheckler when he wrote that intro song. So if I could just replace them with spooky sounds, it might be really fucking fun.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I'm going to see if I can do something like that. So we'll see how it goes. But all right, guys, thanks for tuning in. Like Squadrons, Shovel Knight, and Splinter Cell. P.S. This is awesome.